Yeah, I'm about to own Electronic Arts. What do you mean I got outbid? I think it's fair to say that we've grown used to watching big game releases get a little overexposed. You gotta have your announcement trailer, your gameplay trailer, your gameplay reveal, your Gemma Chan reveal, your Aston Martin Valhalla reveal, your Bauma reveal. Gotta have an NVIDIA PC Dev Diary story trailer, of course, title sequence reveal, rules of Spycraft trailer, very important, and that obviously all leads up to the launch trailer. So it's weird, it's unconventional, we can say, that GTA 6, probably the most anticipated video game of the last 10 years, still to this point has only 2 trailers. One from last year and one from back in 2023. And notably, throughout those 2 trailers, not a single second revealing what it is like to play GTA 6. Well, finally, our national weirdness is about to come to an end. Grand Theft Auto 6, an extended look was announced this week, premiering on Netflix. 6 hours later, it will premiere on YouTube, but who in their right mind would wait that long? That's like a quarter of a day. And the thing is, I can't even think of anything like this happening before. An extended gameplay reveal happening exclusively on a video streaming service you have to subscribe to. The Xbox 360 was originally revealed on an MTV special.
You've waited long enough. I give you the future of gaming.
And you couldn't watch this unless you were paying for cable. So I guess this is close.
You know, on the outside, it's sexy. On the inside, it's a monster.
The concept we're forced to get comfortable with here is video game promotional material being an actual commodity of entertainment. And obviously we already knew there's an audience who would love to just watch video game trailers. It's how Jeff Keighley built an empire. But here we have this whole other tier. This is paying for access to trailers. And I truly think, if I have to predict now, this will be wildly successful for both Netflix and Rockstar. And sure, there might be streaming issues, like when Netflix tries to do NFL games, but I don't think it's crazy or out of line to expect this event to do Red Notice numbers. We're talking maybe Atom Project numbers. We're talking maybe, at least swapped numbers. What's swapped? And I do recognize it's the kind of thing where GTA is this ridiculous gargantuan outlier where it's special. Things can happen for GTA that could happen for no other video game. At the same time, I think it's a good idea. I think it could be scaled in different ways. Who knows? Maybe 1 year from now, we're looking at an extended look for Dave the Diver DLC on Paramount Plus. I can see it. In the meantime, Nintendo uploaded a Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave Direct this week, straight to YouTube. It's nice though. Obviously, I was already going to play this game. But now I am more excited to. I sat there and I watched the whole thing. I suppose you could say I was sufficiently entertained throughout the duration of that promotional material. You want to know something I always love? Split screen upgrade comparisons. That's the joy of gaming. Why I'm even bringing this up though, the thing that I find interesting about this Nintendo Direct in particular is that, considering it is the length of a regular doomed Netflix sitcom episode, they picked what I would say is a funny time to drop the twist on the audience. So a couple of months ago, the initial reveal of Fortune's Weave, they asked us to select one of these 4 characters.
Guide whichever character you choose to victory as they weave their own unique tale.
I thought that was kind of surprising. None of them look like, your typical modern Fire Emblem protagonist. The mystery was, though, who the heck are these 2? Why are they in the middle of the box art? Why is the art book open to their page? Those, to me, did look like your traditional Fire Emblem protagonists, but I figured we'll see. We'll see. They could be something else. We'll see. This week's Direct, once again, really hyped up the 4 main heroes.
Who you choose will determine how the narrative unfolds as they fight for glory.
Of course, you'd think, yeah, I should hope my choice of main character would affect how the story unfolds. Why are you saying it like that? And maybe you're looking at these appealing characters with unique backstories and you're having a hard time deciding which one to choose. Well, 10 minutes later into this presentation, you get the good news. There's a weird magic white bird for that.
From here, you can swap to a different hero. Progress is saved for each of the heroes, so playing through all 4 of their stories in parallel is an option.
I guess that can't be a bad thing, right? It's just giving players options. FOMO-sensitive people who want to see everything will be able to see everything all in one save file. And those who have their heart set on Theodora can just ignore that bird. No big deal. Still, I think it does perhaps diminish the weight of choosing which character you're going to play as. I mean, we do know this guy's going to grant one wish to one character, so maybe you will still choose which character gets their wish. Maybe there's still a big decision to be made at some point. Then, in the final 3 minutes of this 22.5-minute presentation, Nintendo decided to spill the beans.
This is the story's true protagonist.
Yeah, that's the aforementioned twist. And what is so funny is at this point, the narrator says you, the player, have an important choice to make. You could try to win this very clearly super hard boss fight alone, or you could travel back in time and recruit those heroes you saw earlier. What will you do? What choice will you make? I don't know, it kind of seems like those optional characters really seems like you're just supposed to collect them all.
This is where your story begins.
Yeah, the narrator's got the nerve to say this is where your story begins. Forget about everything that led up to this. That was all prologue. And at first when I'm watching this, I was thinking maybe they're getting a little unnecessary with these spoilers here, but now I'm kind of appreciating that it's a warning. It's almost, these are courteous spoilers. These people are not your story. You're the pure, feathery angel summoned by a god. How's that for a backstory? And what's funny about that reveal is if you go to the website, protagonist is the first character you need to hear about. Tasked with saving the world, you travel back in time to guide the heroes. So in a way, this direct was almost scripted to be a live event. Take everybody on a ride, and that we got a big reveal at the end that you will never see coming. And then, once that moment had passed, yeah, look, we got a character creator. If you were avoiding all trailers, if you're avoiding all videos that I make, if you're avoiding looking at any official Nintendo web pages, if you were avoiding looking at the box art too close, this moment might have been a surprise to you popping up hours into the game. Realistically, though, your best chance of ever being surprised by that part of the video game was to be watching the Nintendo Direct. And that's why I'm probably going to be resubscribing to Netflix in a couple of weeks. I'm not happy about it, but I want to be there for the moment. Anyway, that's delayed input. I'll be back next week. Until then, thanks for watching. On the topic of games living outside of games, in Nintendo's recently published quarterly report, I found it really interesting how they framed the success of the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which is a stinky movie. It stinks, but it did rake in over $1 billion US, which, yes, if you're wondering, will goose up your IP-related income. They said, yeah, the movie did good in Japan and Europe and North America. Of course, that's where we sell our hardware. But it also hit in Central and South America and Asia, Oceania. Essentially, they're excited to be able to introduce Nintendo characters into regions that don't buy Nintendo games. We believe that our initiatives in movies and videos can transcend the boundaries of the dedicated video game platform business and provide opportunities for people all over the world to become aware of Nintendo characters. The movie highlights individual characters and enables audiences to discover new aspects of their appeal. Yeah, the idea of making an entire film just to introduce audiences to characters that you own, that does seem bad. However, with the right creative teams, it can turn out pretty good. Nintendo says going forward, we will take a variety of approaches to continually create contact points with Nintendo characters all over the world, working to convey the appeal of Nintendo's entertainment offerings to an even wider audience. I do find that fascinating. It's not the cyclical, oh, if people are more aware of the characters, they'll be more into the games. This all feeds into itself. It's really just, we believe these characters are so good, We have to find new ways to get people to love them. Forgive me for drawing a questionable comparison here, but it does make me think about how Fortune's Weave is so averse to locking you out of any of its main characters. No way you could pick just one. We need exposure. We need contact points. And really, it's like how there was no way that they would make Yuffie and Vincent missable characters in the remake games. I'm saying, yeah, making good video games is important. Nintendo realizes that. But if you want some real IP-related income, couldn't hurt to have a hot tub. And to my eyes, it looks like Nintendo's about to turn the bubbles on.